We waited for winter through January, but real winter, complete with skiing, snowshoeing, or ice fishing, didn't seem to come to northern Idaho this year. So in mid-February 2024, we decided to head south to spring. As we drove south through Nevada and approached our first destination of our planned month-long road trip, we watched the mercury rise first into the 50s and then into the 60s. Our first stop, Death Valley National Park. We dropped into the valley, exchanging elevation for warmer temperatures as we reached the valley floor. Welcome to episode 1 of South to Spring, Exploring Death Valley, brought to you by Occidentalist Outdoors. After making a quick stop at the Furnace Creek Visitor Center to pick up the required backcountry camping permit, we headed to our first destination, a backcountry campsite on Echo Canyon Road. After the stunning sunset and a quiet night, we headed up to Echo Canyon the next morning. The narrow canyon with vertical rock walls and layers of sedimentary rock are a sight to behold as you drive through Echo Canyon. The Eye of the Needle is another interesting feature you'll find about halfway through the Narrows in Echo Canyon.
Hey everybody, we are out on the road.
Yeah, we got tired of the rain instead of snow in Idaho, so we headed south, and day 3 of a road trip, we are in Death Valley. So it's about mid-50s at 10 o'clock in the morning, sunny, nobody around. We're up at the Inyo mine this morning looking around.
It's beautiful out and there's no mud right now, so that's pretty cool.
A week after the latest atmospheric river, and we came up Echo Canyon. They had just actually graded it, so it's amazingly smooth, and right now we're the only ones up here, so we're just gonna kind of enjoy the quiet day up here and give you a look around. Just a look down the wash here. Some of the detritus from the old mining. Mining at the Inyo mine, I guess, goes back to the early 1900s, maybe 1907. I guess this side of the mine and this old dugout up here were the early parts. And was active 3 or 4 times up until 1941 or so. Just all kinds of treasure. If it was 50 years newer, we'd call it trash. Okay, here's the old mill. This mine is so remote, you gotta mill everything, all the ore down to make it profitable enough to be able to ship out. I think this is the old diesel engine that used to power it all. Still here. A few of these buildings are nothing but rubble now. Make you wonder how long the rest of them will last. So I think right there is the old cook stove, and this was the old cookhouse. The book we have, Hiking Death Valley, describes this as still standing at the time. The middle building was the cookhouse, and the stove was still here, along with a counter of some sort, but that's just crumbled since then. And then it describes the far building being the bunkhouse. So we'll go over there next. Alright, so this may have been one of the old bunkhouses. It does have a bunk in it. Fairly well preserved. One new board. Old bed. Looks like maybe a table. And you got your stove to keep you warm. The old 55-gallon barrel. Looks a little too tight for me. Alright, I guess this is the old ore bin up on the side of the mountain. Ooh, almost straight down. All right, we just been out for a little bit of a hike towards the end of the road of Echo Canyon. It's not a trail, but it's easy to follow the wash. Just like a lot of places in Death Valley, it's one of my favorite things. You can just kind of take off into open country and find what you find. And we're headed back down to the truck now, but it's pretty up here. give you a look around. Pretty impressive, the amount of material that comes out of these washes. Just amazing. For a place with so little water, how much it's shaped by it. After our day of exploring, we settled into camp for one more night at the mouth of Echo Canyon. We set out and watched as the sun set behind the Panamint Range, and a halo followed the moon across the sky. Hey everybody, we changed locations, so we finished up over in Echo Canyon, went back to Furnace Creek, got the last permit for Hole in the Wall Road, so we're just up here exploring, taking a look around. What do you think?
Oh, it's a lovely, this is nice weather. This is in the 50s, almost, well, reaching 60, and flowers are starting to come out.
Hummingbird today, so little black and gray guy let us watch him for a while, and we're just enjoying the red amphitheater and gonna go on a couple more side hikes and just enjoy the day up the Hole in the Wall.
I guess that'll do.
All right. All right, telescope peak off in the distance. And you got a hole in the wall down there. Somewhere up from there is a truck. And we've made our way about 3/4 of the way up the wash. And we're gonna see what we find. One of the benefits of hiking Death Valley is the openness of the terrain and vegetation. In many places in the park, you can just pick a spot of interest and go. Following a wash or a canyon, you're sure to find lots of plants to identify, rocks that might lead you to pondering the geology of the area, and if you're a little ways off the pavement, it's likely you'll have the whole place to yourself. After a quick overnight in the Echo Canyon backcountry site, we were back on the road to another part of the park. It was Saturday of President's Day weekend, and all the popular spots in the park were packed. We just moved right on through. As we headed south out of the valley, we did stop to see Lake Manly, which had formed after Hurricane Hillary in August of 2023, and was just recently replenished with an atmospheric river that hit the park earlier in the month. To see this area that's normally a playa lake filled with water was quite a sight to behold. We planned to stay one more night in the park. We headed in the south end of Greenwater Valley, then turned west and creeped our way toward Gold Valley on a quickly deteriorating road. Now camp for the night. Right in there. Just a bit windy up here. Hopefully a good view of the sunset though. Alright, just doing a little circle from our camp, just walking the hills, looking things over. Found this massive prehistoric wood rat nest. I'm sure you'll find it very interesting. How many years did it take to build all that up, huh? Ooh. Like an apartment complex. Looks like we found an old can dump here. Look at all these guys.
Wow.
Rusted out.
But that's not just somebody dumping garbage. It's a museum.
Somebody was living out here way back when. Number 10, some regular soup cans. Looks like a little, I don't know, maybe baking soda. All kinds of cans out here. disappearing back into the soil, slowly but surely. Oh, here's that square can that I found the top of right here. This one only got open part way. That was enough. Wow. This is a pretty significant little spot. Oh yeah, like a sardine or some kind of canned tin fish or... Oh, it's bigger though.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah. Never know what you're gonna run across. People trying to make a go of it out here 100 and something years ago. Another one of those cans with the twisty top here. Don't see those anymore. Just a tiny bit of wood. Somewhere around here was an old cabin site probably, or some sort of shelter, I bet. So yeah, if you tilt it back like that.
There we go.
It looks like it says Ortega. Didn't know Ortega was in business back in the day, but I don't know. Green chilies? Anybody? So we chose to not drive down in this valley, but maybe a wise decision. Washed out in a few places. It's been passed by vehicles, but I don't know if you can see, fairly good drop off, kind of off camber, fine for a Jeep. Don't really want to carry the truck camper across it though. So anyway, we decided against it. We're camped up where there's a nice view. Yeah, not a bad camp tonight. Kind of ridge top, so it's a little windy, but luckily we're in a four-wheel camper, not a rooftop tent, so that's not really an issue. And we can sit back and cook dinner and watch the sunset over the peaks in the distance, Death Valley down below. Should be a good night. Last night in Death Valley, I think, and then we're moving south. Our time in Death Valley National Park was drawing to a close. We sat back, watched one more sunset, and started thinking about our next stop on our trip south to Spring. Wow, beautiful morning. But oh, was it windy last night. This truck, I think we had the most wind we've ever camped in. A couple little fronts ripped through, and boy, it was windy. Glad to see it's a nice day today. Chuckers are out, letting us know there are two different groups of them on the hills, and we're gonna get some breakfast going and head south to the Mojave. This will wrap up our time in Death Valley. Thanks for watching part 1 of South to Spring, exploring Death Valley. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel so we're sure to see you on our next adventure. Until then, see you on the trail. Where are you guys going? Always running uphill.